Hello AFDA students. I'm making this video to help you think through your Project 5. If you haven't started Project 5, it could help you try to figure out how to get started. So first you just want to look around yourself and think about what do you want to draw. It can be anything around you. You could draw a chair, a tree, a flower, a dog, a person, a face. Any of these things will be fine. And then we have to start thinking about the shapes that we're going to put in them. So let me just give you a little overview of the shapes that you need for this project. You're going to need lines, and lines are in the form y equals mx plus b, but you're not going to type m and b. If you type m and b, you get something like that, and it says add slider. That's not what we want. So you're going to just put some numbers in for m and b. So what if you put in 0? Really, y equals 0, x plus 0 is just the same as y equals 0. It's a flat line like this. If you want the line to be steeper, you can put in a number like 1x plus 0. If you want it to be even steeper, you could put a 2. If you need it to be less steep than 1, then you can put in a fraction or a decimal. So you could put in 1/2 or 0.5, and you can change your decimal numbers as well. All right, if you want this line to not start at the bottom, but maybe you want it to start a little bit farther up, then you change your y-intercept. So say I'd like this line to start at 4. Okay, so now you can see I kind of have a line. The next thing we have to do with your line is you have to decide what part of it you want. So say I would like my line to start here, and I want it to end here. I'm going to be talking about the domain of that piece of the line. So you're going to put some fancy brackets in, and I want the piece that goes from here, where x is 0, to here, where x is 4. So I'm going to say that my x is going to be between 0, has to go inside, and 4. Okay? Now, looking at this, I'm just starting to think, maybe I'm going to make a house out of it. Or I could make a chair out of it. You can make whatever you want. I'm going to make some more lines so that I can make a house, and then I'll figure out how to get the other kinds of equations in there that I need. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do this part of the roof here. If I want my line to be sloping downwards, I need a negative slope. So that would be like y equals negative 0.5x, and I can try plus 4, but you can see it didn't go quite high enough. I want it to be here. So if I'm looking at the line that would be here and I continue it up, it looks like it might have a y-intercept of 7. Nope, it's going to be a little bit higher. Try 8. Okay, so here's the line, and I don't want the whole thing. I want it from right here where x is 4 to right here where x is about 8. So you're going to put the fancy brackets in, and I'm going to say that x is going to be between 4 and 8, and then close those fancy brackets. All right, so now I'd like to make some vertical walls for my house here and here, and these are the lines where the x is always going to be 8 and the x is always going to be 0. The y's change. So to get a vertical line, you need x equals. And then for these lines, because my x is always one number, I'm going to actually talk about the range instead of the domain. So for these vertical lines, this one I want my y value to be between 0 and 4. So this time I'm doing y. Oops, that should go inside. And then the same thing, I can copy and paste that. Okay, so that's starting to look like a house, but so far I only have lines on it. So the next thing I need are quadratics. So let's look and see what a quadratic looks like. The parent function of a quadratic is y equals x squared. And to get the squared, you need this keypad down here, and there's the squared. All right, so this function can be moved left or right or up or down. So let me show you how to do that. To move it left and right, you're going to put parentheses on the x. And then if I want to move it to the right, I can do minus. And if I want to move it to the left, I can do plus. Then if you want to move it up, that would be outside the parentheses. I could go up 3 like that, or I could go down 3. That would move it down. Okay, so let's look at the shape I have. What I think I'd like to do is make a doorway right here. So I want the vertex of my door to be here at this point, which is 4, 2. So I'm moving it right 4 and up 2. So right 4 would be a minus 4. And then up 2 would be a plus 2. And then I want to turn it upside down. So to reflect this graph vertically, I'm going to put a negative in front. And it's starting to look like a door. I just want to make it a little bit vertically stretched so that it becomes narrower. So to make it vertically stretched, I need a number here that's more than 1. I could try 2. That looks pretty good. All right, now let's look and see what part of this graph I want to keep. I want to keep it from here, where x is 3, to here where x is 5. So I'm going to do the fancy brackets. 3 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 5. Okay. All right, now I need to do another parabola, and I don't really have a good place for one, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another arch here. So to make another arch, it would be very similar. It would just be moved up 1. So I'm going to copy this and paste it here. And I'm going to try, if I move it up 1, it'll be a little bit too high. I'm going to try moving it up like a 0.5. So what if I made this 0.5 like this? And then you can see I need to change these numbers. So let me just get rid of it. And then I can see the point here. I have I'm going to round that to 2.9 and 5.1. So 2.9, 5.1. All right, that looks pretty good, but you can play with those numbers a little bit if you want it to reach all the way to the ground. All right, the next kind of function I need is an exponential function. So exponential functions can have different bases. I'm just going to do a base 2. So that would be 2, and then your exponent is a variable. So 2 to the x like this. So looking at this, I'm trying to figure out what exactly would that be for my house. Perhaps I can do a piece of my house that looks like this. I feel like I want to move it there. So to move it there, I can do transformations, or I could do a regression. I could do either of those things. I'm going to try transformations first. I'm going to try to move this point up 4 and over 2. Let's see how that works. So to move it 2 to the right, I'm going to put parentheses on this, and that would be minus 2. And then up 4 would be plus 4. It's definitely too high. Let me try plus 3. That's pretty good. What I really want to do is move this over here. So I'm going to try maybe 2.5. Almost there. 2.4. It looks pretty good. All right, so that's what I was looking for right here on my house. And what I want to do is I want to use this point where x is 3.19, and then this point where x is pretty much 4. So 3.19 to 4. Actually, I don't think that was x, that was 3.19. Let me go back and see that. I think x was 0. Yeah, x was 0. So I'm going to do 0 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 4. So that looks pretty good. All right, so to do a symmetric one over here, I'm going to need a negative on my x. So let's just see if I copy this, and I don't want to copy the interval because that's going to mess me up. Just copy this. If I were to put another set of parentheses around this and put a negative in here, how would it look? Okay, it's pretty good, but what I really want to do is move it more to the right. So let me try that. Okay, so you can play with it a little bit until it looks good, and then you're looking, so it's going to be again from 4 until 8. Okay, so that does not look perfect. I might change my 4 to be like a 3.9. See if that looks better. Looks a little bit better. Okay, and you can mess with those things as well. The last kind of function that we need on this house is a logarithm. And a logarithm is the inverse of an exponential. So I'm going to type y is equal to, go over to functions, and miscellaneous. And you want the log with a base on it. I'm going to do log base 2 of x. Okay. All right, so for this function, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll do some sort of chimney on the top here. So I think I'm going to be moving it to the right and up. So to move it up, I'm going to go try, the up goes on the outside, try a +6. And then to move it right, I'm going to try a -6. Oh no, wrong spot. That's why. -6. Okay, so that's decent. I'm going to take this piece here from 6.4 until about 7. Okay, that's decent. And then I just like another one so that it completes the chimney over here. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to copy it. But I want to move it slightly to the left. So instead of -6, let's try -5.5. Okay, that's decent. And then I want this point, so I want this from where x is 6 until about 6.5. Okay. So one thing I should have told you at the very beginning is that you want to make sure you're logged in. So if you're not logged in over here, there'll be a choice to sign in, and you'll sign in with your FCPS Google. And then these do not save by themselves. So you want to give a title to anything that you do. So I'm going to call this sample project. Okay. And you want to save it, and remember you have to keep saving it as you work. So looking at this, even though I have at least 2 lines, at least 2 quadratics, at least 2 exponentials, and at least 2 logarithms, it does feel a little unfinished without this piece right here. So I'm going to do a horizontal line, and to get the horizontal line, it's going to be a y equals, and up here I can see all the y's are 6, so y equals 6. And I only want the piece from here, where x is 6.5, to here, where x is 7. Okay. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that now. It looks a little bit more like a circus than it does look like a house. So I could call it circus if I want, or I could call it house. We need to get the pictures and the equations into the project. So you could use Snagit. I'm going to show you how to get this picture in without Snagit. I might zoom in a little bit. No, that's too much. So I'll zoom back out again. So I'm going to press this one. And I'm going to export the image. I might change my line thickness just so I can see it a little bit better. Looks like I can change the zoom. No, I can't. What if I change this? That doesn't help me any. I like the way it was. Okay, I'm going to download it, open it, and then you'll have 3 dots in the corner here. This is where you can copy. And you want to paste it into your project. So I'm going to paste it down here. Okay. And I think if I make it smaller, then it will just stay on that one page. Okay, so that's decent. In Google Docs, if you click on your picture, you have a choice. This will let me wrap things around it so that I can actually put the equations on the same page. I'm going to put my name here. And the title, I said I'm going to change it from house to circus because it looks a little bit more like a circus. For the link, go back over to Desmos and choose this one again and copy that link. I am going to hit save one more time because I know I changed it with the top of the chimney here. And now I need to get the equations. And to get the equations, you are going to have to use Snagit. And I can't show you Snagit because I'm actually using Snagit right now. But if you don't have it on your toolbar, type Snagit in here. You're going to get an option to take an image. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take a picture of all of these equations. And then you'll paste that into your project. And then you'll scroll down and you'll take a picture of the rest of the equations. And you'll put that in your project and then you turn it in. And that's it. Good luck with your project. Remember, your project will look very different from mine. You should not be doing the same project, but I'm sure you have a good idea. And if you don't have a good idea, that's totally fine. You can do any idea, anything that's around you. All right, take care.